Hello, welcome to Level 1 Plumbing. Today I'm going to carry out a typical Level 1 plumbing task. So this is following a diagram, connecting up copper pipe work to a basin with also a washing machine outlet. So this will involve compression fittings and some soldering. Right, so remember folks, in Level 1 Plumbing, the actual assessments, all this bit is a nice lesson bit, but the actual bit you'll be assessed on is just this one bit here. We have now marked out the pipe runs and we have now put into position where the fittings are going to go. So an elbow, a T and another T. Right, so we now need to mark out where to put the clips. So that's going to be the next job. So we're going to start with the horizontal clips. I'm going to suggest the clip goes in the middle between the T and the end feed elbow. So let's measure halfway. Halfway is 140 mil. Right, so we're going to use a bradawl. Like that. Put a screw in. So you measured same distance there, 150 and 150 there. Right, so the washing machine valve is going to go here. So I'm going to say we're going to put two clips here and here. So right, we'll also put a clip the same height here. Right, we'll also put a clip here, here and here. Right, and also because we've got a lever, we've got an isolation valve here, we're going to put a clip there and another clip there. So we have spent a lot of time marking out the pipe runs, installing lots of clips. So this would now mean that when we install the copper, there's not much to go wrong. Remember folks, when you see the regulations on clip distance, that's the maximum. You can have more. My motto is the more clips, the merrier. Now we are ready to start to install the copper pipe work. So we're going to install the longest bit first, which is going to be this run, and we're going to work our way around. So we're going to put our first piece of pipe in. It's a 15mm copper. Right, we'll put some pipe here. Right, we'll also put a pipe in here. Like that. Right, so now we just need to focus on the horizontal run. Right, so on this run here, we're going to put a soldered elbow, so end feed elbow. So what we're going to do, right, so we're going to put an end feed soldered elbow here. So what we're going to do, even though it's new pipe, I always still like to clean it with wire wool. Like that. And also like that. Right. Right then, using some flux. Like that. Right, we then push the elbow in. We then push the elbow in like that. Right, and then using a heat-proof mat. So 1, 2. Remember, the more heat-proof mats, the merrier. Right, so we only need that much solder and that much solder per side. So in all, we need about that much solder, about 30 mil of solder. All right. So what we then do, we don't put it like this. We put the flame like this. Like that. Like that. Like that. Wipe off the excess flux. Like that. Right, here we need to use a compression tee, so we're going to make sure that all the olives are present, which they are. Right, so we are going to offer it in place. Right, so we know, that's what we can do, is we know it goes to that line there. Right, so we're going to do a pencil mark just here to that. Right, so we're going to do a little dot just there. And then using the 15 mil pipe slice, push that in. I'm going to push this in here like this. We're going to push this one all the way into the bottom like this, like that, like that. Right, what we can also do is we're going to put some pipe into here. If you're just with fittings, if you're just starting out, I always like to do a little mark test, a little dot, and then so you know that it's gone in all the way. So this is a 15 mil compression tee. We could do it just tight like that, and then like that, like that, like that, like that. This is how it's looking so far. So now we just need to put in an end feed T with a drain off valve here. So then, using my wall, also even on here. Because we're going to solder this drain valve, because it's going to get hot, we need to remove this section which contains a washer. So this drain valve is a type B drain valve, it's a bit smaller. Because we're quite near a clip, I've got some wet cloth just going over the clip as well to protect it. Right, so we wipe off the flux with a wet cloth. Like that. Right, so now we're going to put the isolation valve into place. Remember, it's got to go, can you see the arrow? So it's got to go this way, upwards. So we're going to mark the middle. So top to top is 220 mil. So we're going to measure. Right, so that is where the centre of the valve is going to be. Like that. So we know it goes to that line there. The pipe insertion depth is to that line there. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer it in the mid centre to centre line here, and we're going to draw a pencil mark on the pipe insertion depth, which is there. And we're then going to cut the pipe there. Like that. Now place this in position. Do this up, the bottom one up tight now. So what we can do, so then using some water pump pliers, I'm going to do this up here like this, like that. So we can now close this in this clip like that. Right, we're now going to put the washing machine valve in. So we want the middle and the middle to be the same height. So what we're going to do, we draw a nice level line there. Like that. That's the centre. Right, we then know, we'll do a little mark test here. Right, so we note how far the pipe goes in. So with this, it just goes to the end of the thread, which is there. So what we're going to do now, the centre mark there, we're going to mark the end of the thread, which is there. Like this, pop that on, like that. Water pump pliers, like before. Do it up nice and tight, and we can then spin that around like that. That is that section complete. So this is how it's looking so far. So we're now going to cut a lever valve in the centre here. That's the next job. There. Do a mark there. Valve in like that. Pipe in there. Like that. Like that. You can then do up the fitting using our water pump pliers. Like that. And like this. So we need to connect from here to here. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to work out what the bend is going to look like. So what we're going to do, okay, so what I do is I put some pipe in here, like this, just for now. I put a piece of pipe just like this, like that, just dangling like that. Centre to centre of pipe 90mm, so our offset has got to be 90mm. The angle. Right, so if we bend it 60 degrees, the smallest offset we can get is 95mm. So if we bend it just less than 60 degrees, that will be a nice and tight offset bend. Pipe in, and we're going to bend it just less than 60 degrees. So that's a 60 mark there. So that's just a bit less. That's about right. It's back round that way, like that. Put the guide in, like that. Hold this on so the ruler touches the former, and it's got to be parallel, like two train tracks. And we then take a measurement. So that is reading 80mm. So we need to just wiggle this a bit more so it goes to 90. Okay, so let's try it again. There, like that. 90. Right, we then make sure the pipe's nice and straight, like that. And we then bend it back exactly the same angle. So we bend it back so it's just less than 60 degrees. So take the pipe out, just looking like that. If you're using the Monument Masters, you put the pipe into to do the offset, you put the pipe into the benders like this. Then we're going to bend it 60 degrees. So we're going to bend it just under 60 degrees. So 30, 45. So that is just under 60 there. And take the pipe out like that. Like that. And then what we then do is we then So that's measuring at 80. I'm going to measure it a bit more. It's 90, like that. Like that. So next is we're going to cut a tap connector in. So we don't want to cut it too close to the bend. So we're going to cut it so we can get lots of, so it fits onto the fitting properly. So about there, like that, like that. Get the joint nice and clean. I'm going to put some flux around it. Put the fitting on. So end feed, 1/2 inch tap connector. Like that. And 1 minute later, and then wipe off the excess flux. Right then, not forgetting the fibre tap washer, like that. Screw the tap connector on hand tight, like that. Right, so we now know from earlier the pipe just goes into the bottom of the thread. Here, like that. Okay, so if your college makes you use this one, I'm going to take sympathy and do this last one using this one. Right, so we're going to put it on there. Right, you then cut the pipe to this much, like that. Remember, if you're using this one, you have to then deburr it like that. Right, so this one first, like that. So we popped it into the compression fitting first, and then how these work. Basin wrench. Tap. Right, so before we test our work, we have a visual look to make sure the joints are soldered, make sure the drain valve washer's back in, make sure the compression joints are nice and tight, like that. Make sure the washing machine valve's closed, make sure this valve's open, make sure the main valve's open, make sure the valve to the basin is open. So we then connect the hydraulic pressure tester to our work. So in the UK, mains pressure is 3 bar. So we're going to pressure test our work to 1.5 times working pressure. So in this case, we're going to pressure test our work to 4.5 bar. So we're going to fill it up, wait 30 minutes for it to stabilise at 4.5 bar. And if it stays at 4.5 bar, we're then going to wait an hour. And this is a test period. And if there's no drops, then it's all good. We've got no leaks. Currently on about 5 bar there. Right, so 1 hour later, the pressure has stayed the same. So there is no leaks. It has passed the test. The water has tested that the whole lot's been tested, okay? The next job now is to just clean up any pencil marks and finger marks off the wall. Right, so this was a level 1 task, okay? So, but at level 1, for the actual assess bit is going to be this section here, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this assessment. So now you know how to install a basin using copper pipe. it's your turn to have a go.